said before that a lot of white people only care about racism and cultural appropriation when it concerns black people and literally no other race.
They turned off their stitches, duets, and the ability to save the video. So if you want to go watch the video in entirety, I'll link it below. The way that she framed her argument was purposeful and insidious. Because this conversation has to deal with white people and their ability to cultural appropriate to the point that the culture that they are appropriating becomes so watered down that you can't recognize where it came from before, such as what they did with yoga, like you were talking about. But instead of talking about that issue and directing that animosity, that clear animosity that I so feel at white people, you bring black folks into this conversation. And if we are being honest, because I see through the bullshit that you're doing, you're talking about black Americans. You are inviting anti-blackness into the comments, and specifically anti-blackness against black Americans, because you know that that is the most socially acceptable form of anti-blackness. Because what do black people have to do with this conversation? Black Americans are the loudest about protecting and gatekeeping their culture. If you have an issue, you should say it. That white girl was aware that you doing box braids was an issue because black folks here told her. Yeah. And in the same way that you all expect Americans to be aware of the intricacies of your societies, you all should be that aware of the intricacies of ours as well, and the histories. Because if you were educated, you would understand the rich and deep history that black Americans have with their hair. You would understand that to this day, black Americans are actively discriminated against based off of their hair, that they are treated differently based off of what type of hairstyle that they are wearing. You would then understand that if you are under attack based off of something that is part of your cultural identity, and then these people come in, take that aspect, and are somehow praised and somehow rewarded, and meanwhile you're getting fired from jobs, kicked out of schools, yeah, you would be upset. There is obviously some underlying animosity towards black Americans in your hearts, and I want you to go and seek help, because this video was unnecessary. You could have talked about that white girl by herself. You did not have to bring up black folks into this conversation.